Welcome to Business Focus, a production of the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, LJ Wilson, and today we have Kimberly Bonner. Kimberly is the president and senior consultant for New Day Consulting Systems, LLC. Ms. Bonner is going to talk to us about franchising. Thank you for coming to Business Focus.
Thank you for having me.
So, Kimberly, tell me how it all started, your background.
Okay. It really started in earnest from law school. I attended the University of Virginia Law School, and I was recruited at a big firm, which seems many, many moons ago, to do intellectual property work. I did a lot of trademark work, trade secret work, patent work, and insurance coverage litigation, believe it or not. And franchising has to do with trademarks. Every franchise is built on its brand. And so I kind of got introduced to franchising and trademarks there while I was at a law firm. Then I got a job being an intellectual property manager at a university, working with other university IP managers. But then I had a health crisis. And that health crisis in 2010 forced me to kind of look at how I was working, because I had a very long commute, like so many people have incredible commutes. But more than that, I almost died.
Oh, gosh.
So I went in for a surgery. It was routine. It just went all wrong. And whenever you have a health crisis, it forces you to say a couple things. If I'm not healthy, how can I continue to have income?
Yes.
It's like the first thing you ask, right?
Absolutely.
And so I knew I might not be able to continue the commute. Things had to change. I had to modify my lifestyle. And I got some clarity on my priorities. And so from that crazy incident, the franchise concept kind of was reborn in me. And so a colleague of mine introduced a education franchise to me. And while I just come out of surgery, and I was like, I can't believe I'm looking at this, but let me look at it. So I flew out to Dallas, Texas, and I looked at this particular concept. And it was an education concept that was born out of a woman who actually has a piano background. She was a piano teacher. This was not a woman who actually was a CEO of anything large. It wasn't like she was, a CEO of a major Fortune 500 company, but she had this thriving, at the very least, regional business, really a national business, focused on tutoring children, and she did not have the background.
Yes.
So that's when the light came on. I realized with the legal background that I have, with the trademark background in particular, that I had at least as much ability as this woman in Texas. And so maybe I need to start looking at franchising again. So if I'm honest, the whole thing kind of got started because I had a health crisis, and I was investigating different businesses to invest in to make money just in case something happened.
Yes.
From that seed that was planted, I started thinking about it. That particular concept I really wasn't pleased with. I figured I could actually do a better job than she can.
Yes.
And then I realized, I could take all my different experiences, because you need IP to make a franchise. I'd already worked with businesses and organizations in higher education, and then branding, and then bring that all together for kind of a full service consulting business. And New Day Consulting New Day Consulting Systems, was born. But again, it was kind of born out of a crisis. And I know I'm not that unusual. That happens a lot, but
Yes.
That's really my story. That's the testimony of New Day. And what I try to bring to the table with a lot of people who are at crossroads, whether it's in their career, whether their business is not moving in the right direction, I always tell people, if there's breath in your body,
Yes.
there's always an opportunity to have a new day, to have a new beginning, to start over. And I believe that part of my purpose for being here on the planet is to show people that what could have been your worst day, many times if you get the right context and you get the right people around, you can actually turn whatever is the crisis in your business, whatever is the crisis in your life, you can actually be a platform for some of your brightest days ahead. So that was the genesis of New Day. That was the reason why the company is called New Day. And literally, it's been probably one of the best decisions I ever made was to leave the university. Probably the
Start
best.
your own
Yeah,
thing.
really, the best decision I ever made was to leave the traditional practice of law. And it all started with a storm. And it all started with one of the worst days of my life. And again, I've enjoyed meeting small business owners who want to expand their business, don't really know how to expand their business. And I introduced them to the concept of franchising. And franchising is all about taking a small business that might not have an enormous amount of funds to grow, right? Franchising is really a fundraising tool. So I tell people a lot when they feel like, oh, I'm stuck with 1 to 2 business units, and I can't imagine being a national franchise. I can't imagine being an international franchise. I tell people all the time, listen, you don't have to use all of your money. Franchising is a wonderful way for you to fundraise, and you recruit all these other franchisees, and they're the ones in many ways that are investing in your franchise. They're investing in your brand. You in turn, give them the secret sauce. You in turn, train them up, and you give them the systems to help them actually go out and take your brand and take your business to the world. But the dirty little secret in franchising is that it's not for people or for businesses that are billionaires or, have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. It's for people who actually are many times the mom and pops, and they're looking for a way to expand quickly, for a way to recruit, wonderful people,
Yes.
and do it for minimum cost. And so that's the good news that I kind of try to share with people that people don't even really know is out there. So
Wow, that's an amazing story. And just working with you and you in the chamber, I'm just happy that you're here with us
I
right
know.
now.
Me too. Me too. It was crazy. But everything tends to work out. So, and it's worked out.
So why your interest in franchising? I think you kind of covered it, but can you get into
The interest, it was out of kind of, how can I put this? And it started with the trademark work that I was doing. And then it kind of built because I met this woman in Texas with her particular education business. And I realized that franchising is a wonderful grassroots way for the average business person to grow. People think, when they think of franchising, they think of McDonald's. McDonald's is just one type of franchise. Food is one type of franchise. Real estate is a type of franchise. Hotels franchise. Business services of all kinds. Consulting businesses franchise. There are IT businesses, mobile. So I'm attracted to it because on the one hand, it kind of utilizes all of my background in an optimal way. And on the other hand, it is a way to kind of democratize business growth for people who might not realize, I can have a national franchise.
Yes.
And I can have a national business, and I do not need to have, $100 million in the bank. That to me is incredibly inspiring and incredibly empowering. And it's important for me to be a part of a business that empowers people and, like I said, shows people a new day. You might think you're just doing this in Reston or you're just doing this in Herndon. Whoever I'm talking to, you might think that I'm just doing this in Northern Virginia, and you have a dream on the inside of you and you think I need millions of dollars. You might be able to do it to start with for $100,000. Many franchises start expanding aggressively for $250,000.
Wow.
That's nothing. You started your own. If you have 2 businesses, it probably took you that amount of money just to get the 2 businesses. So this is the dirty little secret I tell people all the time, and I feel like my mission on the planet is to expose this to more people. more people that don't look like your traditional entrepreneur, people who are immigrants, people who may come from different backgrounds that people in the past would say, you can't possibly be the next Ray Kroc. Well, why not? You can't you can't possibly be the next Marriott. Well, why not? You know, it's a new day. And again, that name has more meaning than the world could ever fathom. I breathe that, and I mean that. And when I talk to people, the relationships that I have with these new businesses and potential franchises mean a lot to me. So the attraction to franchising, it's almost like I feel like a call, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, so the franchising is more like a call. It's almost like it called me. Things kind of happen. I was like, here I am, and it all kind of fit together, and I get jazzed by it. Like, you know,
Passionate about it.
I am, because I always like turning the light on for people and letting them know, listen, you could do this. You could do this for
What's wrong with you? Don't you see
yeah,
it?
exactly. You could do this for $100,000. You could do it for you could grow aggressively for $250. Are you kidding me? And normally when I say things like that, it's like it literally is a new day for people. People wake up, they get smiles on their faces. They're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, that's the truth. And I know most people don't make that information public, but that's part of my job. That's part of the new day experience.
So can you tell the resting community what is the difference between franchise or franchising?
Franchise and franchising, or a franchisee and a franchisor. Okay.
Yes.
A franchisor is the big business. It's the company that's like the parent company. A franchisee is the individual who is investing in the franchise. And so I work with both. So I work with businesses that want to grow and become large franchises. And I also work with businesses that want to invest and want to become franchisees.
So Kimberly, thank you for joining me today. If you are interested in learning about having Kimberly as your person to get you invested into franchising or learning more about franchising, please visit www.newdayconsulting.com. Again, this is Kimberly Bonner, President and Senior Consultant at New Day Consulting, LLC, and I'm your host, LJ. Thank you for joining us on Business Focus.